So the thing is, I don't really know much about gaming. I'm just a volunteer here.
Dude, my anus hurts.
Fuck Westgate and their shitty internet.
And craziest combination of people.
Clap
We're
again.
live. We're
Clap,
hot.
clap.
We're
Give it
horny.
the clap. There we go. Cool.
The clapper. We're here. Fist of Fury, Dakota, Atlanta, and myself. We're on our... What episode is this?
Technically, this will be episode number 3, since
3.
you have the first 2, and
Yeah.
I want Atlanta's to be next.
Yeah, you're right. That it would be proper, right? Because then A and then D, and then we got it. We have M as well. That we
The
done.
silent M.
We done yours, but it's off. It's off in our warehouse.
We're gonna redo it.
Yeah, we're gonna redo that.
You
yeah.
have that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's
I like
okay.
I
It's
think
cool talking.
It's
Yeah.
always great to talk.
I don't
and,
even think like we can eventually. Are we able to put those out anyways at some point?
What I really want to do is I kind of want to splice them all into like, hey, this
Oh.
was what we thought before MK,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it just has little cutbacks or whatever. Or we can do it where we upload it onto like a Patreon or just something
Yeah.
else, like
I
a
just-
members only video on YouTube.
Okay, that's
I
good.
lived up to like my word though, like at least for MK1, where I said I'd become the bane of your existence. So at least I got that.
Already challenging. Okay, well, shit. Yeah,
well, so we might as well just start the draft. I told you about the PS2
Yeah.
games.
Oh.
So what it is that we're saying you are going to be locked in a room for a week, and we're going to be doing a fantasy draft going down from Michelangelo all the way to Dakota. We're going to say, it's only one game per franchise,
yeah.
and you're going to be locked into a room for a week. Which game which games are you taking? You have to pick 5.
5.
Yeah.
So I guess we're starting it off. What I said, Twisted Metal Black. It's just
Okay.
Dang.
I have to go with nostalgia, and that one hits me hard. I was I was waiting for Fortnite to update because the Marvel season's out.
Right.
And there was so much. When a new season comes out, there's always they say it comes out at 9, but it's like 11, and it's still the servers are down or some
Yeah.
shit. So I was waiting, and Twisted Metal Black was on my PS4, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go back, and I went right to the credits movie scene, and I remember when I was a kid, and my brother, he's 2 years old, and I have him on my knee, and I beat the game, and then Paint It Black comes on by
Hell
Rolling
yeah.
Stones.
Oh, yeah, Rolling Stones.
It's amazing.
Dun, the drums, there's dun dun dun, and I had him on my knee, and I'd grab his arms every time that would come on, and I'd be like dun 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 dun, dun. And he'd be there like, what is happening? One time he cried, he's like, stop, and then when I played that credits, it hit me, and I'm like, my brother is 23, and I'm in that moment of him 2 years old drumming. And I'm like, where the hell did time go? You know? And so Twisted Metal Black. So, dude, just the vibe of it, like how they were like, let's go dark. It's like a Disney movie going to rated R where they're like, let's just give him it all. Twisted Metal Black was that. And yeah, I would read the magazines, and just see it. And so because replay value, you had the environments. And so, yeah, that's my first choice.
All right. What about you, Atlanta?
Ooh, okay, that's a little bit of a hard one for me. Shoot. Honestly, maybe like just to start it off, like a game that I played like a huge amount of would probably be like TimeSplitters Future Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
TimeSplitters?
Yeah, TimeSplitters Future Perfect. Honestly, I love TimeSplitters 1 because it's super experimental. 2 was actually like, okay, we're getting there, and then 3 was just pretty much they figured out the formula. They're like, we're gonna grab the best of both games because 1 and 2 didn't really have much of a story. It was just kind of like scenarios just moving through. And then 3 was just like, hey, we actually have a real story. We have a map maker. We have AI. We have all the crazy costumes. And we have the gameplay of GoldenEye, but evolved.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, this game's ridiculous. And it was a full package. Plus, split screen co-op. That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
And like you were able to play multiplayer with your friends. Like this was the first time I ever experienced like a real infection mode in like a console game. Because back then I was playing like Half-Life mods and stuff like that. So it was really cool to see like, advancements on consoles that I didn't think would happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We're one SD card and one nice microphone short, so we're gonna be sharing me if it's
Okay, that's fine.
Oh.
No, I'm trying to think, man. Like, I didn't own a PS2. I never owned a PS2.
Whoa.
So I went from PlayStation 1 to Xbox original, and then I got a PS3, which I hardly bought any games for.
Yeah.
And then I got gifted an Xbox 360, and I bought all my games for that one.
Wow.
But I want to say, like, during that Xbox, would it be Xbox original or more Xbox 360?
The Xbox original.
Yeah, Xbox original, dude. I just remember the game that I like was infatuated with was obviously like Halo Combat Evolved. Like I just remember being like just playing it over and over and over again, but never doing like any of the harder difficulties outside of like normal. Yeah. Just because I felt like I was like real young and I couldn't handle it, right? Yeah. But another game that like always sits like really like I don't know, Fusion Frenzy. Like that was a game where I was it was just me and my brother constantly battling, right? Yes. And that was like the most petty like dude, so long as I could beat him in Fusion Frenzy, everything else was like cool.
I always picked Zach, the yellow guy, the yellow kid. Dude, my favorites were Twisted System, where you had to jump or duck. It was like Sumo was a badass one. The balls and you're just hitting each other. Boom, 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 boom. The simpler ones were the best because there was some. It was like you got to do this. That was it was like Mario Party, but just the games. Just the, so that is a good one. Fusion Frenzy.
For me, would be because I'm like one of those guys. Like if I'm gonna be in there for a week, I need something that's gonna take me a long time to play.
Yeah,
something I enjoy. I have to say Final Fantasy X.
Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, that one. Like so much stuff to do. Like, was it Blitzball? You could like literally make like an all-star team. The story is at least a good 40-50 hours.
Jeez, yeah.
And if you want to collect everything, the voice acting sucks. But besides that, the game itself is very clean and it's classic role-playing game at its finest. I remember playing that game like over maybe 100 hours, and I never got bored. Jeez. Never got bored. I played a lot of Blitzball. At least won like 7 or 8 championships.
Yeah, I besides Final Fantasy VII, X is like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
I always wondered Blitzball. Like, there's where you have to. It seems like you have to lose. You can't win on that one part where no,
you can.
You can't actually win
the very first time you go.
Yeah,
you just. I actually tested that.
Yeah.
And I actually did not too long ago. It's just that I was always wondering, it's like, is it possible that because Titus or however they want to call his name is, his sphere shot is freaking nuts. Yeah. But you can also learn what is called the eject shot, which that if you're like going towards the goal, and if you do the eject shot and there's 2 people next to you, you basically kick the ball, it hits the one guy, knocks him out of the way. Yeah. He punches it, hits the other guy out of the way, and then he starts doing a little spin around, and then he kicks it right at the goal. And if the number is higher than the goalie, then it goes in. I remember just getting like really close and being like, "Oh man, I'm gonna knock these 2 guys out right now with this check shot." But then like when you lose Titus because he has to go help out in the game, you're stuck with Waka. And then that's where the game gets really hard. Like you got to pray to God that you have like one smart AI that just goes all the way over so you can pass it to him to kick the ball in. But it can be done.
Okay.
It's like a really hard fought win.
Damn, so Final Fantasy X, huh?
Final Fantasy X for the win for me on my first pick.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike, you're up.
So another replay value one. We recently talked about this for El Cabano's podcast. It wasn't for his podcast, but while we were setting up, is a Def Jam Fight for New York. That game
man, took it from me.
Dude, that game I played. So I wanted that game so bad, and it was like, I think the release date was like around October or something.
Yeah, and
so it was still a ways from Christmas, but I was like, I need it the day of. So I actually worked with my uncle, like landscaping. And I made enough. I made the
manual labor.
I think I still remember, like, plus tax with PS2 games, it came out to $54.11.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was, price, right?
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I do it all the time. So I needed $54.
I asked my dad for a dime one time.
Yeah, I need 11 cents.
I need 11. I got the penny, Dad.
Yeah. So I got it, and I'm like, and I still have my copy of that to the 2004. And
nice.
Yeah, that
I still
game,
have my copy too.
Yeah,
I could get rid of it. I'm just like, dude, finding this game is like impossible at this point.
Yeah, so Def Jam for sure.
Okay. Atlanta?
I guess I'd have to go with the Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dungeon crawler?
Oh, 100%. And the best part is, like, it's fully co-op. So I remember beating that game like several times over with a bunch of friends, like all the time. And I'd have like multiple characters, like, and that would level up with each friend, right? So I had like a jester, a mage, a warrior, all that nice stuff. So it was a lot of fun to me. Like I was
Yeah.
able to break the game quite a few times, but it's all in good fun.
I actually have a pretty funny memory about Gauntlet Dark Legacy. My uncle had a friend, right? So he's in his he was 28 at the time. I'm a teenager. I'm like 13 maybe when that game came out, 12 maybe. And I wanted to rent it. And he's always like the type of guy that will like give you a hard time. I'm like, let's rent Dark Legacy. And he was like, let's rent this instead. And I'm like, oh, it was like another game or even a movie or something. And I was like, oh, this motherfucker. So he didn't want to rent it. So I was starting to pretend like he was my dad and he was keeping me locked in a basement. And like, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't please you, father. And I started shaking on the ground and everyone was looking at him like, what the fuck? What are you doing to your kid? And I'm like, I'm sorry, father, I can't please you. And like, he was just like, shut the fuck. And he'll still talk to me about that today. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that to me. And so it was just a Dark Legacy moment for me, was that. I don't know, so random. But go on.
I wish I was I had the mindset to like throw tantrums like that when I was younger. It was never anything creative. It was always like, oh, why won't you let me do what I want to do, right? It was never anything like, I'm gonna make a scene right now and I'm gonna make it seem like something else. I never had like the wherewithal.
I never do nothing in this house.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, this might be a good segue. I mean, hey, this is Atlanta's episode. We're here for Atlanta. I mean, talk to us a little bit, Atlanta. Like,
what do you want me to talk about? I'm
dude,
scared.
like, give us a little background of who you are and your part in MADHouse and maybe like, I don't know what kind of got you into gaming. So who are you, Atlanta?
So the thing is, I don't really know much about gaming. I'm just a volunteer here. So yeah.
So that's a good intro of like Atlanta trolls a lot.
No, I don't. I tell truths.
You troll, and you have a certain face. Like right away, I'll be like, "He's trolling me."
He smiles. When he smiles is when you know.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I never smile.
No, there's a certain stone face he has where he's like, I'm trying not to smile.
Oh yeah, no,
so
that's when
like,
he's really trying to to push it.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, is he serious?
But I've known this man for a year now, and I've kind of picked up on his tendencies.
Yeah.
Jesus, guys.
Yeah.
So-
No, we say it out of love. Say it out of love.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
As long as they're not bad tendencies.
Oh no, that's not bad. You're just looking for a good laugh.
Fair enough.
So like, if people are wondering, like, we don't see this guy on camera a lot. What are you doing for MADHouse? Like, when we're live, when we're at events, behind the scenes, let them know who are you? What's going on?
So for the most part, like, I'm just kind of like the Johnny on the spot. I'll go where I need to go, but for the most part, I'm setting up consoles, making sure like all the licenses are working properly. That's honestly quite a process. It's actually very involved, a lot more than you would think, to be honest, a lot more than I would like. To make sure everything's working for King's Cup is quite a trip to make sure everything is running properly. So you got to do that within a few days just to make sure everything is updated properly. And then, but for the most part during events, I am, while the event is live, I get to say I am production and taking photos as best as possible whenever I can. So like, I'd love to be sticking on one thing, but to be honest, like, manpower or whatever you want to call it, very short supply. So we got to do like many different hats. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun to me. Like it's honestly, it's been a joy doing all this stuff. So I'm always just having a good time. Even if I'm sweating or look dead, I'm like, no, this is fun to me.
Yeah, I would say if we were Slipknot, like we would have like the drummer, right, vocals, but you're kind of the percussion. You're just like, I'm hitting the wind chimes over here. I'm doing this over here. Like we need you to hit that keg on the spot. Like do it. But
that gong in the corner.
Yeah.
This part of the song. If you don't hit
all
this,
over.
We're done.
And it's you kind of grew into your own with MADHouse. I would never have took you for a cameraman. And out of nowhere, I see you fiddling with the camera. And I'm like, okay, like maybe it's a one-time thing, right? Because we're still figuring out what are we doing, like TO-wise and all this. And then you start just always camera. And it's just like shots are getting better. And I'm just like, damn, I think was your hobby a cameraman before MADHouse, or this is it just your hobby, it happened because of it?
Okay, so the funny thing is, like, I understood how photography worked, like high school, right? Like, I learned photography. I actually developed a lot of photos and stuff like that. And then I started watching a lot of behind the scenes, so I was able to figure out, like, the mindset, but I wasn't able to properly apply it. And then I'd like to thank, a lot of people within the community for guiding me. You have Val from the Drunken Masters crew. You have Catacap. Shout outs to them. They've been really guiding me, giving me better angles, telling me like this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be editing, stuff like that. And then I was able to find my own niche with the photos, and I'm constantly trying to get better and better at these photos because I still feel like I'm not where I would want to be as a photographer.
Yeah,
but it's definitely getting to the point where like some people are giving me a lot more props, and I still don't feel like I'm like deserving of it, but like it's getting better.
That's good. That's a good thing what you said, because when you don't feel that way, it's gonna get better. When I see you taking pictures and like you send it to the Discord and stuff, I'm always like, damn, it's gonna only get better. I know you're a brain that's like, okay, I'm gonna figure this shit out, like how to make it sharper, edit. So I think it's right that you're our cameraman,
Yeah, you also did really good at Evo this year.
It's funny. I feel like I didn't do the best at Evo. I'm like, I know I was running around taking a lot of photos, but I feel like I could have done better, right?
Oh,
like,
no, I feel you did really good. There was a lot of like I think the shot with RCD and Michelangelo was a really good
Oh, the
shot.
one where they're pointing? Yeah, that one's a really nice one.
A really good photo. All the photos of like everyone like in focusing and playing.
Yeah,
like, you really start to see that side of everybody.
Yeah,
and you got everybody with their Chipotle cards.
I did try to do my best to make sure. Like you were really helping.
It's Andrew.
Yeah.
What's going down, dude?
Hello.
Oh, you want me to go over there for a little bit? Okay.
So, like, what got you into the fighting scene, Atlanta? What was the first game, or like gaming wise, like what was something that you like caught you in fighting wise, and like was it Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter?
If we want to just go back to like the beginning of like my experience with just like I guess fighting games in general is like I was brought to a neighbor's party. They're having like this huge house party. I had no idea what's going on. You're just a little kid, and you start to notice a bunch of degenerate stuff, but you don't know it's degenerate until like you're a lot older. But either way, my uncle left me there. I have no idea where he is, and I'm just like walking around, seeing people drinking, making out with each other, all sorts of crazy shit.
Damn.
Like a preschooler. Yeah, I don't even think I was like in preschool yet at that point either.
Wow.
So I was just like walking around, and like I see some guy playing Super Nintendo, and he's just putting on a clinic, beating everybody. And I just sit down next to him, and he's just playing Street Fighter 2, just beating everybody.
Damn.
And I'm just like,
who was he using?
I want to say he was using Zangief the entire time.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy actually back then.
He probably knew how to do the grabs.
Oh yeah, he did actually.
Oh, he did?
He did.
Oh,
He did.
man.
That's the thing. And then it's kind of funny because he noticed me sitting there just watching, and then he tries to hand me the controller, but I was like super nervous because it's like it's like a bunch of adults getting kind of messed up around me. So I kind of just sat there the entire time just watching him like just beat the hell out of all these people, just asking him a few things here and there. Funny enough, I just remember asking him like, hey, have you seen my uncle? I was like, and I just remember him saying like, I don't know who your uncle is.
Whose kid is this?
And I'm just like, and to be fair, like, that was probably like not like it wasn't a bad answer or anything to me, and like I get it, like I don't know who he is, and you're just some random guy who showed up at a party and is like, hey, they look at Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
But it was a cool moment, and I think that did stick with me. And then like I went off to Nickel City, and I saw people playing in the tournament. Funny enough, I saw giant cameras everywhere, and I'm just like, I want to get on that cabinet. Like you're just a little kid, you don't know what's going on, and like they're blocking you from getting to the cabinet. So I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna go play the Simpsons beat 'em up. I didn't learn until years later, like that was actually like a big Street Fighter moment where like it was apparently I don't know if this was like the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament that happened there, or this was the Alex Valle one. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Like I didn't realize like how close we were to like so many historical bits. Like Daigo versus Alex Valle actually happened in a Nickel City not too far from here, in Silver Creek Road. Yeah, back when the Nickel City existed. There's no way Nickel City could exist in this economy.
Well, yeah, no. There's not many arcades or any type of like small business can hold arcade cabinets or any type of business in the economy we live in right now and expect profit.
No,
It's
not
sad.
at all.
Like-
You have to have rhythm games.
And you have to sell like I hate
God.
to say it, you have to sell alcohol.
You
nowadays it's like your liquor license is your profit.
And you have to sell like sweet type of liquor nowadays.
Right.
Like, no one's like, not too many people are drinking like IPAs as much as they used to.
Definitely.
Oh, Michael returns.
The Messiah is back.
No.
Sorry.
All right, welcome back, good
Welcome
sir. How are you?
Dude, my anus hurts.
Dang. You were gone for like 2 minutes.
That's
dude.
all he needed.
Yeah. Dude, the G spot's a very, they say it's no.
All right, and cut that.
So what
Leave it in there.
what were we speaking of? What was happening?
We were talking about you.
Yeah.
Photos.
Oh, yeah, photos.
Right now, we just covered the story of. Well, let's see.
His uncle.
Right now, we just covered the story.
You
The one
remember,
that he
like,
told in the last podcast.
Yeah, so you remember when my uncle like legitimately left me like at a party and it was like super degenerate stuff happening everywhere?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So like I was just talking about how there was just some like absolute like Chad just beating everybody in Street Fighter 2, just like
yeah.
and I just chilled with them all night. I still don't even remember how I got home.
Jeez, yeah. How old were you?
I was either entering preschool or like I was actually right before preschool.
Everything's
Entering
a blur.
preschool?
And they just left me there. Well, my uncle
Yeah.
left me there. But then again, like, yeah, that happens a lot.
Not much stuff I remember like in preschool times. You know, I mean, I remember like maybe like 3 or 4 key moments.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
But
It's
other
like
than that, it's just like it's all a blur.
that's the
Yeah.
crazy part. Is like this is actually one of those key moments that I still remember. It's like the first time I experienced TMNT. Like I was
Wow.
like, okay,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I remember that being in a Pizza Hut one time.
yeah.
Yeah, that was Pizza Hut, and then you tell your parents, can I have 2 quarters so I can go play Ninja Turtles?
We just Atlanta, your last podcast with El Cabano, you had Pizza Hut. You brought Pizza Hut, right? Wasn't it Pizza Hut?
No, it was the Alfredo pasta from Pizza Hut. Yeah, yeah.
From Pizza Hut. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just I haven't had pizza in so long, and I always we're speaking of TMNT, and the first TMNT VHS, the commercial was a Pizza Hut
Pizza Hut,
commercial.
You know what's funny? When they actually remade the TMNT game, they actually gave like a small coupon for a personal pizza in the box.
Right, yeah, in the Nintendo
Wow.
box, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really
Yeah.
cool. I was just like, wow, they really went out of their way to go like talk to
Oh,
Pizza
yeah.
Hut and say, we want to do this again. They're just like, fuck it.
Well, it's also funny, like you guys know the conspiracy of the first 2 movies, right?
It was to sell Pizza Hut?
No. So the first movie came out. Parents got mad that they were cussing. The Ninja Turtles were
Yeah,
cussing.
Raphael said
And,
damn like
he
3
said
times.
Damn, or 4 times, 3, 4,
4
5 times.
might
That's
have
so
been 4.
crazy.
But, well, here's the thing though, and then they were using their weapons as they normally
Yeah.
do. Parents said, "I don't want my kid wielding dual katanas and hitting kids at
Yeah.
school." So the next movie, they were told you can't use your weapons.
It's
So if
and
you
I
watch the
didn't
whole
realize.
movie, if you watch the whole movie, they never use their
I
weapons.
watched that movie so many times, and they don't. Michelangelo in the beginning uses like sausages.
But did you get the reference that Leonardo did?
What was
So
it?
at the very beginning of the movie, he literally goes, "Hey, now you see him, now you don't." He
Oh, yeah, and he
into
throws
the-
it up, yeah.
That was a knock at all the parents saying, "Look, we're not going to use our weapons."
Wow,
I was
Jesus.
like, "Dang, the little small little gestures."
Yeah.
That was like really cool to know. And then the third movie sucked.
I've never seen any of the TMNT movies.
Oh shit.
Even the Michael Bay versions.
Wow.
Oh, you're not missing much.
So we covered a little bit about, hey, your first time like being into the fighting games. You were at that party with your uncle. Michelangelo talked
I don't know
a
if
little
I was
bit
with
about,
him.
Okay, well he brought you there, right?
Yeah.
And then you were like immediately like, yo, Zangief, Street Fighter, this is wild, right? And you're super, super young at this point. But Atlanta kind of talked about your photography.
Yeah.
What was kind of your next step after, that party where you're like, hey, I kind of want to seek this out a little bit more, or we bridge that gap between MADHouse and that party.
For the most part, like a lot of that stuff that was happening after that was just kind of small moments. I still remember I actually went to elementary school with Julio at the time, and I still remember him just like, hey, you want to come over and play Third Strike? I'm like, what the hell is Third Strike? I want to play Counter Strike.
That shows one
That's
of
the
NorCal's
wrong kind of
best.
strike.
Yeah.
Since he was a little kid.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is like, and mind you, like I was always at a cyber cafe, and we played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 years later at a place called Klondike's Pizza.
Okay.
So that was actually pretty close. Yeah, you might remember where it is. But we used to just go out there. We also played with another one of our buddies named Kevin. It was kind of funny because we kind of paper scissors would rock to each other, where I was losing to Julio, but Kevin would beat Julio, and then I would beat Kevin. So we go in this weird cycle where we're just eliminating each other over and over. And I was just like, damn, what the hell's up?
It's a roundabout.
Yeah, right? I was just like, okay, well, this all worked out. But from there, I was just playing a little bit of fighters here and there. Like, you have your Capcom versus SNK. Everyone played that. But to play a lot of fighting games at a high level didn't really happen until, like, I'd say 2008, more or less. That's when my interest in fighting games started rising, because I was just like, hey, Street Fighter 4 is going to drop very soon kind of deal.
Yeah.
I'm hearing rumors that Street Fighter 4 is available for play at San Jose State, which is freaking awesome, right? Unfortunately, I had no way to even get there. So I was just looking around. I'm like, dude, we need to get down there. We need to play. And then, funny enough, I still remember they actually held tournaments there. And I signed up for it, but I couldn't even make it. So I'm like, damn it, you know.
Yeah, I remember the tournaments. Those were amazing.
Exactly. I'm just like, oh, that would have been really cool to get involved like that early on, but it was okay.
Yeah.
So during those times, I went to Golfland, and someone told me, hey, on Thursdays, or I think it was Thursdays or Wednesdays, it's $10, and you get to play there all day. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I go there on a Thursday. I'm like, oh, you know, not too many people are going to be there. Everyone was there. Like, it was nuts. This is like early like FGC where like, you know, this is when I first got to see like a lot of random people at Milpitas Golfland. This is like, you know, F Champ before they got really big.
Yeah.
You had Dacid Bro. Funny enough, that's also where I bumped into El Cubano Loco for the first time. And a bunch of other players. I think I eventually saw PR Rog, but that was like later. But during those times, like I was getting my ass whooped by everybody. Like I was like, whoa, what the heck is all this stuff? Like, you know, like out of my friend group, I wasn't exactly the best either. So and also during that time was not the most welcoming either. As it was a different time because you still had like control from the OGs who had a certain mindset of like, you know, you have to be like a certain level in order to really even play in there kind of deal.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so
Like
it was
kind of like gate guarding.
it was
thing?
definitely gate guarding back then. Like I kind of understood it. You know, it is what it is. Like different time, you know, era. Mind you, there was an era where people were getting punched because they threw somebody, and that's where a lot of the OGs grew up in. You know.
Yeah.
So I
wish a
understood.
motherfucker would.
Now, yeah, but shit.
I wish somebody would.
Yeah, but it was fun. I had a good time. I didn't let a lot of it get to me, you know, for the most part. It is what it is. And that's what led me to like start playing fighting games a little bit more. I think the fighting game that really like made me want to get better at fighting games though was not Street Fighter, although I did play that pretty heavy, but not enough to a point where I was getting like better and better all the time, but Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
No.
That's the game I spent like a good chunk of time on. And I just kind of went a little nuts with it for a little bit. I was really abusing a lot of the broken stuff in vanilla, which made me like, unfortunately everyone's like, dude, you're tier horror. I'm like, I don't care. You eat shit. Because I'm just like, because coincidentally, the characters I picked were top tier, and I didn't know that, right? I picked, at launch, I went with Wesker, Hager, and Akuma. Yeah, and everyone's like, dude, what the and I was just like, I liked Wesker because Resident Evil 5 just dropped. I like Hager because I thought it was funny that, you know, the mayor's coming for your ass.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, Akuma, just because, like, you know, Street Fighter at the time, I was like, cool, Street Fighter. Yeah. Plus, I used Akuma in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Yeah. So I was actually expecting to use Juggernaut, and I wanted another big body on my team, but I didn't care about Sentinel, so I used Hager. So I'm like, cool, all worked out. Beefy guys.
I just remember Vanilla Sentinel was just...
Oh, yeah, it's disgusting.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I remember that nerf game.
Oh, that nerf came, and that nerf landed on his lap.
Yep. I'm like, oh, this is a real nerf. I was like, wow, they actually did something about him.
Yeah, unlike the original MVC 2, where, you know, it's stuck where it's at. I wonder if they're going to nerf it for the new release.
No, they're going to learn a lesson. You shouldn't have played this game.
You shouldn't have touched our game.
No, you're going to learn real quick. It's like 2XKO. A lot of those like League of Legends players are coming in. This is going to be fun. No, it's not. No. Especially since you joined the beta 5 days in.
Damn. So I guess with you talking about, or us talking about how you are a cameraman for us, and then now and your production, it was kind of destiny or fate, because in the beginning Dakota was production and you were TO, but you kissed a dump truck.
Yeah, no, that was terrifying.
Yeah, and one of our main wallpapers is you with shades on.
Yeah, that
was because you had the concussion, right?
Yeah, because like bright lights made me like really queasy, motion sickness, and I would vomit. And the worst part during this time, you guys were like, you need to get into MK1 bracket. I'm like, yo, I feel really bad. Like, I can't do this right now. Yeah. But you guys would force me. So I still remember playing Dakota in bracket on stream. And right after I won, I went to the restroom and started vomiting.
Oh, fuck.
I love that picture so much because like I knew he was going through it. Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, I kind of don't fuck. Like, you know, he'll be all right. This will be funny later.
No, it 100% is funny later. But during the time, I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
So we were at Oakland and we were at OTG, and he's like sitting down on a chair with his head. He's like trying to look down at his phone or trying to just like hold it together. Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, Atlanta, look at this. And I'm like, oh, right there with my phone and just like click. right? And that was the picture. But I didn't do anything with the picture. It was only after he got into the computer, and then he found the picture. He's like, hey, can you send me that picture, right? And all of a sudden now it's the wallpaper, and he's thinking like, oh, I'm gonna change it, and it's been the way ever since, dude. It's just Concussion Atlanta 24/7.
Yeah, and we'll like see it at King's Cup on the big screen.
Yeah, it's up on top of the wall, man. Look at that stallion.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, and all because of your concussion, you went to production, and bam.
Yeah, life is funny that way, right?
Yeah,
because
You're killing it.
Honestly, I think
you've literally made Michelangelo's life a lot easier.
dude. I remember I learned how to do all the stuff.
No, you did,
but it was always frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it was like I'd rather talk about even just the players sitting down.
Yeah,
talk about them, but I'm over here like, okay, wait. I'm doing because you guys do it. You highlight the thing and like copy it and paste it. But me, I'm like, computer illiterate, so I'm like delete, and then I'm like typing everything, and I'm just like, okay. But while I'm trying to commentate, so yeah, just you guys doing that, I'm just like, great. I just hold the mic.
I just remember when I started coming to a commentary and I started doing it for you, like, oh my god, he's doing it. Oh man.
Yeah, you surprised me too, because not a lot of people do that or know, and then you did it, and I'm like, hey, great. Like,
I just asked him like, where do I need to do it, and I just was quick to pick up on it. So I learned from Atlanta and from Dakota.
Yeah.
So, but like you've been killing it.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah.
Bro. Like, no, you make it, like I said, you make it easier for Michelangelo just to focus on the matches.
Yeah.
And you just got both monitors ready to go, and you're just cooking.
Yeah.
I just tell people like, what's Atlanta doing? I'm like, let him cook. He's doing his thing. Leave him be. What do you need?
And it's I'm grateful because you're usually ahead of the pace. Like sometimes I'll tell someone you got to change the stage name, right? Or there's it's when I say it, the name's there, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, we're good, So and then you're going off to take pictures because then Fist fills in or something, and it's like you do it enough to where it's on the easy stuff. And
it's
you're
just
like,
points.
Just point there, boom. And then you go off and take pictures.
Yeah, so it's the the unfortunate part about that situation is that I can't focus on taking photos, but it's okay because I think for what I am able to do, I optimize like my choices of where I'm taking these photos, right? Like I'd go straight to like random players and start taking photos. I would take photos of people on stage, like whatever's the closest to me. I'll just start gravitating, taking pictures of people hanging out or whatever. But if we're pre-production, like before stream even goes live, I'm just taking as many photos as possible, as long as everything's taken care of. Yeah. I want everything to be good to go. Mm-hmm. But I will say, that accident, like that was like several months of hell, to be honest. Like, and I was just like powering through it, like. And honestly, it's just kind of crazy that I found out like months later that I had a fractured shoulder, and I just I was like, yeah, my doctor was just like, you look fine, you're fine. It's like, no, it wasn't. Surgery was all good. Now everything's better. Like, went through about 20 weeks of physical therapy, so that was cool.
Jeez,
yeah. We're just glad nothing worse happened.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, when I look at the dump truck, and then I was just like, wow, I literally could have died.
I thought you were gonna say, when I looked at the dump truck, I'm like, I want the run back.
Nah.
You go after him.
It could take the W. I'm leaving.
Jeez.
Yeah, you better look the other way. That's what that dump truck says every time you walk by. Yeah, you better keep walking.
Yeah. God damn.
But yeah, I think honestly that situation led to like the perfect storm where like I was no longer able to really do TOing, and then Dakota took it over, which funny enough, I was actually telling him before that he should start TOing more. And he didn't really want to do it. Like I told him this would be a really great way for him to talk to players.
I mean, at the time, I was a little bit apprehensive because I know I come off as very abrasive in the beginning. Yeah. Little did I know, that's kind of what you need in a good TO.
Correct.
You need somebody who gets people to do stuff immediately.
Yeah.
And it's not like I try to just be like, no, you don't have a choice. Run your match right now, right? I very seldom have to do that. There's the only people who push it are like, hey man, can we have this on stream? I was like, dude, we got to wrap this up in like 45 minutes, and we still got like 8 matches to go.
Yes.
Like, that's the only time I get all crazy. But I mean, outside of that, it's been really nice to have that level of interaction with the community. And it's just unfortunate that it took a car accident the kind of force that to happen.
Yeah, that's been very interesting with everything. So yeah, so you did how I met you was Wall Bounce Wednesday.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, that was when I used to work with someone who kind of became a pariah towards the end of his FGC career.
Yeah.
I still give him credit for bringing me into it. Like, he was honestly one of the more welcoming members of the FGC at the time, and he was bringing in a lot of people during that time into the FGC. That's why I'm just like, he actually was a good entry point for a lot of people because he was just so welcoming. He's like, hey man, just come through. Let's play Marvel at my house. I'm like, okay, whatever. And we played Marvel at his house, and it was really cool. Funny enough, the way I met him, I actually went to Orange Sauce Casuals down in downtown Levix. It was just upstairs, and I was just like, oh cool, I get there, I'm having a great time. I play. I actually played up until the very end when he started throwing people out, and I'm just like, oh man, like this is gonna, like that was amazing. Like I'm totally gonna be back. When's the next one? Oh, this was the last one. I'm like, wait, what? And then I was just like, what do you mean this is the last one? It's like, oh, they're not letting me do this anymore. I'm like, what the hell? Okay, well shoot, like do you have like another spot you're gonna do? He's like, no. And I straight up just told him like, hey, we should definitely talk because like, I have a place where we could do this at the time where Round One is now and at Eastridge was actually a jumper place where kids go to play jump houses and all that stuff. It was called Bounce City. And I actually did like a lot of like work there. I was actually repairing arcade cabinets, things that a minimum wage worker shouldn't have been doing. Like I was soldering boards and everything. I'd look up maps of like configurations of how to do this stuff, and I was like going through Reddit because there's actually like a giant subreddit that was on that helped me fix like a Galaga machine, which to me was probably like the crowning achievement I've ever had there. It's just like, you fixed this thing? I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I fixed it. Yeah. It was cool because like unfortunately all they gave me was like a pat on the back. Well, not even a pat on the back. It's like more like, hey, good job, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you did all this stuff. And then because I was doing all this extra stuff, cleaning the place a lot more and just kind of going way crazy for a minimum wage employee, they let me host events there for free, no charge or anything. So I thought it was really cool. So I started hosting events with GameStop. So yeah, I started doing midnight launches for random games, and unfortunately I couldn't be a part of it, but they always gave me a free like swag to help them out, like t-shirts, like cardboard cutouts and stuff like that. So I thought it was really cool. And then from there it kind of led to me doing fighting game events. Actually, I was able to I was able to convince the manager of GameStop at the time, because when Street Fighter Cross Tekken was dropping, that we do a tournament, and whoever wins actually wins a free copy of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And he actually got corporate to do that, and they also gave out controllers.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was nuts to me. So like during that time I was like really cool. But anyway, point being is that fast forward, started working with came out. He was very cautious of me at first because apparently he's heard that same song and dance, like, come out, I have a venue for you kind of deal. He comes out, he checks out the venue, and he's a massive shit talker, right? So he starts talking shit immediately. He's like, hey man, I want to see if you're actually about fighting games or not. Like, let me see you in Street Fighter, like right here. I'm just like, I never really played Alpha 2. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna whoop my ass in Alpha 2, whatever. No, I destroyed him. It was free. I was just like, what the hell? I was like, that's not right. Like I only played this game on the PSP at the time, with the Street Fighter collection that they had. That was like $20 at Target.
Alpha Anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yo, this is great. And
I have that still.
Dude, that thing is amazing. I think it's probably one of the most underrated collections.
It really is.
Like the 2v1 boss mode fight, that's so cool to me.
Yeah. Hardy was always like such a shit talker, but like didn't play it. Like he would shit talk where you're like, this guy has to be as good as Daigo.
Yeah, right. Like, so he gassed himself up, and then when you played him, you're like, this is nothing.
Yeah, but he's like the type of guy that he'll get the W somehow, as in like, you didn't perfect me.
Yeah.
He's just like,
the silver lining type thing. You won.
Wait, are you talking about
get that level 3 off on you.
Are you talking about the F-Champ moment? So F-Champ was like, I could perfect you, and he's like, no, you can't. You get 5 tries or whatever. And like he would just lariat at random and then hit him once, and then F-Champ would just get hella mad.
Yeah.
That one anti-aerial lariat.
It's like, oh, here's Tri-Dash Magneto coming in. It's like, nope, lariat.
Yeah. So
I was like, all right, well, there goes that perfect.
Well, what is your favorite fighting game?
Ooh, favorite fighting game? Are you talking about like of all time?
Well, the one that like would say like, oh, if someone puts that on, oh, I'm in this.
Honestly, I wish I like practiced it like consistently, but if anyone throws on Marvel, I'd play them, even if it's like me getting my ass whooped. Like I would be down for it.
Okay.
Funny enough, like Catacap was just like out of nowhere. I was like, I heard you play a little bit of Marvel. I'm like, oh shoot, and then we started playing. Unfortunately, I was using like not the best stick at the time. Like certain people's sticks, like it goes back to like neutral very quick. I think they're like Korean sticks or whatever. Did not work out very well. Like it was, I like playing on an 8 gate when I'm playing Marble.
All right.
Or a no gate. People got disgusted by that.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of funny. There's times where like people are like, "Hey, can I borrow your stick?" I'm like, "Sure." I hand it to them. By the way, it's a no gate. They hand it back.
Yeah, no gate. Like
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah, I was just like, I want to do full circles.
Yeah, like oh god.
No.
Disgusting.
I can't feel any corner.
Yeah.
So
shit.
so where did you where were you when were you first introduced or you met Michelangelo and Dakota?
That was actually at the tournament I actually hosted. Specifically,
Yeah.
like this is like 2012,
Yep,
2013.
2012.
Yeah, this was Injustice.
Oh.
Yeah, the
yeah.
Injustice like first launch week tournament. We held it at the back of my work. It was really cool. I actually the first time I met Michelangelo, I was actually really scared of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, who the hell is this tall ass dude with a tattoo? Everyone's saying he's like really good. All I think is he's there to kill me.
Yeah, I just got my neck tattoo. Like I was fresh from San Francisco, got my neck tattoo, went to Wall Bounce Wednesday, and I could tell Atlanta was like, hey. I'm like, look, I just play video games here. Like, and he closed off everything. Like you close. You know how like Eastridge, you close off with the whole metal fence and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just us, and that's where dude, that is like, if it was a comic book, that would be I would love that comic book because it was a first appearance for me of you and the Ponytail Brothers. Like I met Atlanta, Dark, Tundra, and Enra all at once, and I'm there like they all seem cool. You know, it's Atlanta's welcoming. He's the host of the tournament. I'm like, dude, you're hosting this. I never been in the after hours of Eastridge, where it's like, hey, we got to take the exit over here when we leave. It wasn't that when kind of was like,
I didn't want to name him, but
what was it? Like he said, let's smoke weed in the exit or something. Like
yeah.
that?
So that's actually how I lost the venue, which is the worst part because it was probably the best venue we had at the time.
Fuck you.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, he's honestly a good guy, but he does a lot of like silly, dumb stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what? Why are you doing this to me?
So he's like the Steve Urkel.
Dude.
You know, he's just
Dude.
like,
Craziest combination of people. Let me tell you right now. I had the pleasure of
you know it's serious when you just stood up a little bit,
So I had the pleasure of when I went to Vegas 2016.
I know this.
I didn't I was gonna go back home with my mom, my little brother, and everyone, but I was like, you know what? Cherie was begging me, stay. I want to party with you later, and this and that. And I'm like, I don't have a ride home. I came with my mom and my little brother, and she was like, oh, and she was sad. And then I got in the car, and we were like going home, and we had to go to Mandalay for some reason. And I was like, you know what? Just go without me. And I didn't even know how I was going to get home. But I like that kind of shit. I like when I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen.
Uncomfortable situation.
I got to figure this out, and I will figure it out. And I got top 16, which I got like 5,000 or something. So I was like, if I have to go home, I can go home. So I stayed. And because I stayed, and were still, they had Molly, they had all this crazy shit. I remember that.
I remember that year. That was like nuts.
Don't worry. Tell the story. I'm gonna edit it.
Okay.
Oh.
So, dude, I tell down ass dude. Cherie and I, we go in, and it's like, you could stay with us in the hotel. And I'm like, okay, they had an extra bed. And I'm like, hey, you want to see? And he's all in front of Cherie was like, oh shit, and was like, yeah, man. And I was like, okay. And like, so we're laying there, and it's pitch black. Comes in with I guess a friend from like someone he knew and stuff, and they start having sex in the bathroom. And I'm talking about, this is like,
you could hear it.
It was big. The girl. This is the thing about. He loved big chicks, fat chicks. The fatter, the more excited he got. He was like, God damn, like, and we were just like, hey, he takes one for the team. So he's there, and out of nowhere, we're laying there, and we're just hearing clapping, just douche, and just like, this is National Geographic. I was like,
so let's
oh
do
my
it
God.
like they do on the Discovery Channel.
And then like, I thought like, 20 minutes in, are falling asleep, and out of nowhere I hear, so are you and Cherie gonna have sex? I was like, oh my God. I was like, I completely forgot.
Because somebody else was already doing it. I thought that was the entertainment.
Dude, it was insane. And then another story with...
Did they ever come out?
Yeah.
and the chick.
What did
Yeah,
he say to him again when he came out? Like, I forgot. There was like I remember bringing this up. He's like, why would he say that? Like,
he did say. I forgot though too. Fuck. It's like in my head. But another story. I think you told me this story. Someone told me the story where like driving and in the back, and you know was a virgin at the time, and driving. And he's like, hey, we're about to pick up this crackhead, and like, okay, and the crackhead gets in the back of the car with and just like suck on her titties, and like, okay, and he starts sucking on a crackhead's titties. Like, I swear, did you hear about this?
I remember that, but the thing is, it wasn't in his car. It was like some kind of bus stop. And then like the crackhead said, and then this white boy will suck on my titty.
Oh yeah, it was the crackhead just demanded.
Yeah,
like, you're about to suck on my titty, and like, okay, like he was, he didn't really,
and he just did it, and he just like, I was just, why?
He's a down ass fool. I hope the best for him. He's a great guy. He's down.
Would you screwed Atlanta out of a venue?
but Atlanta, I guess. He's one of those, what is it called when you're like naive, right? You're like, oh, there's a security asking what we did, and it's like you don't cover it up. It's kind of just,
he literally told them exactly. Well, he told them
honest. He's honest. He's just like, yeah, I smoked near the exit hallway.
Well, no, the problem is too. He just like he told the security guard, and he named me full name that I allowed him to smoke pot in the hallway.
Wow.
Goddamn.
And I was like, I never said that.
God damn.
So when I was dealing with the Eastridge at the time, they're like, no, you can't do this anymore. You get one more because like you already scheduled it, so you're gonna get this done. Which sucks too, because actually a lot of people liked the venue. It was a nice venue, lights were bright, lots of sitting spaces. Actually had a lot of power. We were starting to actually make hot dogs with a Gary Coleman grill. I mean, George Foreman grill.
You were gonna say Gary Coleman grill? How would that grill be?
Dude, every time you say that, and part of me in the back of my head, like, that's fucked up, man. Just because you got a little grill, you think it's made by a little man.
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
Little Gary Coleman. When you open it, it says, what you talking about, Willis? Oh my God. Oh no. Jeez.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I'd totally buy that product.
Yeah. R.I.P. Gary Coleman.
I think a lot of people had a George Foreman grill too.
Yeah, it was actually very popular.
Yeah. No, yeah. I knew I had one.
Yeah, like honestly, never cook a burger on there again. Like, it's too slow.
Yeah. So what about meeting Dakota?
Okay, so funny enough, Dakota was through a friend, one of our boys, Frankie. This is when me and Frankie were hitting the gym pretty hard. So we actually met in the gym. So Frankie, he was hyping up Evo and all that stuff. But the thing about Frankie is that his schedule is kind of wonky. He's known for like kind of disappearing and stop replying to people, right? He just completely just no longer, at least during that time. He's gotten a lot better with it now, because I used to give him a lot of shit. Because during that time, I was trying to get him in shape for his tests, which was like a physical test. So I'd literally pop up after I get off work, right when he's getting off GameStop. I'd literally be standing outside of like GameStop, holding up a bottle of pre-workout, and I'm like, we're gonna go. You're like, regardless of what you want. He's like, I don't have any shorts. That you're gonna wear one of my shorts. I have one in the bag. You have no excuses. Let's go. So I would forcibly just force him to the gym all the time, and coincidentally from there we met Dakota. And apparently Frankie and Dakota were always talking, and like Dakota like was known for already like loving fighting games at that point. So Frankie like just told him like, oh, Atlanta plays fighting games too, and that was kind of the end of that. We'd see each other every now and then. We talk small little bits here and there. But I think honestly I like hearing Dakota's perspective on it, because I didn't really think much about like our initial like after that,
Yeah, I'll keep it brief, just because we're probably going to cover this in my podcast. But like Atlanta said, really good friends with a mutual friend, Frankie, who would constantly come in and just be like, hey, I need energy drinks. I didn't sleep last night. We were up playing games. What do you got for me? What's the strongest shit? And I would always sell him like Bang at the time was a brand new drink, or just like whatever we had, like Spike was a real good one. And just like all my customers would always go to the 24 at Eastridge. And I was there, cool, everything was good, and constantly seeing Frankie there, and then seeing Atlanta. I was like, hey, what's up, man? Who's your friend? Oh, this is Atlanta. I'm like, oh, immediately thinking, oh, this is a strong little lad right here, right? Like, these guys like not that big, but I see him, they're deadlifting, which is already like, you don't see a lot of newcomers. Now you do, but before it was like, damn, this guy's deadlifting. These guys are trying to get fucking strong. Yeah. And already seeing him with 2 plates, already keeping up with Frankie, I was like, dude, this is sick, dude. I want to see these guys on their journey. Yeah. I want to see these guys get strong, right? right? So I was always just down. I was just like, I'm Atlanta. I'm like, all right, ATL, you got it, man.
Yeah.
Just like, so every time I saw him, right, because sometimes he would be there without Frankie. Yo, what's up, ATL? You'd always say what's up to me, right? But I said, dude, it was funny. I was one of those guys where I would walk around and I wouldn't know anybody. I would never go out. I would never know anybody. But the moment I walked into the gym, it was like, dude, oh, what's up? It's Dakota. Everybody's saying what's up to me, right? Because whether they were my customers or I was just there like 6 days a week, people just knew me. They're like, oh, that's the guy who, you know, whatever, right?
I love how you're saying customers and like you're saying that you sold him a bang. Like you almost sounded like the drug dealer in the back that like sells energy drinks, illegal energy drinks, you know? And it's like, oh shit. It's like, yeah, you're one of my customers. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
this got steroids in them.
Yeah, like shit.
It's funny. The thing that like really put me over the edge is I'd known Atlanta for like a while at that point, right? And then he knew I was into Mortal Kombat, right? And you know, Frankie sold me on Evo. Like, you should come to Evo with us. There's a whole fraternity of MK players where we love each other, and we just, you know, we all go to each other's hotel rooms and we all just play. That's all we're concerned about. Like, you know, the moment they find out you're an MK player, they treat you different. They're like, dude, you're a special breed, right? Yeah. And for me, being like an A's fan, right, where it's like, you know, predominantly everybody is a Giants fan. It's like you got that same sort of vibe. Like, no, dude, we're a part of the resistance, dude. This is we're different.
The rebels.
So he did a lot of things that basically puts our friendship over the top, like, you know, even further down the line after, you know, invited me to tournaments and a bunch of other stuff. But no, I always, right from the jump, I was always like a fan of Atlanta, right? Just in the gym. And it's just funny that we both had this thing that, you know, also coincided where like, no, we both love fighting games too.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for both Michael and also, you know, all three of you. Are you guys a little bummed that there's not another Injustice game? Do you feel like, you know, they had a lot of potential? I mean, 2 wasn't bad.
I think there will be eventually another one.
But I mean, they were doing it in such an order where it was like, you got MK9, and then you got Injustice, and then after Injustice you got MKX, and then you got Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Then you got MK11,
and then
it went straight to 1.
Yeah.
Like, I really felt like I was excited for the next Injustice game to be launched. Not saying I wasn't excited for MK1. I'm disappointed in it now. I mean, of how it's descended and like no one plays it anymore.
Down. Yeah,
it's really, it's not just watered down. I don't feel it's fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Warner Brother Games is kind of like, or NetherRealm Studios is just really dumbing it down more and more.
They do it.
And it's like, there's so many patches that they're doing, they're just ruining it. But what do you guys think about there being an Injustice 3?
I won't mind. I'm always excited about a new NRS game to try it out. So obviously I love MK the most, but if a new Injustice comes out, I'll try it, see if I like a character. And that's that.
Atlanta.
Oh, fair enough. Honestly, I was looking forward to another Injustice game because I was like, okay, cool. Because I was never really too big on MK games because I never could find like a way to get into it as much. Not entirely sure. I enjoyed MK9. I didn't care for MKX for some odd reason. I think it's more the fact that Kano didn't have like the strangle that he had from MK9 where if you EX it, he just starts laughing while choking you. I thought it was really funny. I was just like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, this character just like has a really dumb move, and all it takes is a really dumb move for me to enjoy a character. That's the reason why I played him in MK11, because like he spits at you and it does 0 damage. Like, that's so disrespectful. And it combos. Why? Like, it's and it anti-airs too. It's like, what? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think for me it was like, I for me, I fell in love with like Johnny Cage like so much as a character that like when Injustice came out, and I was like, they don't have Johnny Cage, of course, right? But then like the moment I had to hold back the block, I was like, I can't fucking do this, dude. This is unplayable for me. I'm just gonna play the story mode, and I'm just gonna move on and wait for the next Mortal Kombat.
That's also one of the things that affected me in terms of just MK, because I wasn't used to a block button, right? Also, the block button was used for meter burning, and I was just like, that's kind of weird.
I for me, that was always something different. Playing Street Fighter all the time and just holding back and block was like always like natural. Even with Tekken and with other games, it was like there was never a block button. And there's also your block button. I remember like playing MK1 and learning about using a meter to stop the person from doing a combo string on you. Because I saw Michelangelo do it to me all the time. I'm like, how do you do that? Well, you block and go forward. I'm like, what? That's what you've been doing this whole time? That's what you've been stopping my Baraka combo this whole time? This is unbelievable. And here I am wasting all this meter.
Yeah. So good. Oh man, I was gonna ask you something, Atlanta, about.
Also, that original Injustice special from Aquaman, like how like the shark.
Yeah,
Dude,
oh,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
that was so hyped when it was first
Yeah.
thing. I was like, what marketing? Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, they had Jay and Silent Bob for the playing each other.
Yeah. To use them for
They
the
did?
For the
trailer.
Injustice, for the Injustice, you got bit by a shark.
By a goddamn
Oh,
shark.
damn.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Aquaman got sharks.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good commercial. I was like, wow, that was actually nice.
Dude, yeah, it was really good.
That's so random. They would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're comic book nerds, aren't they?
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Silent Bob is for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm not sure about Jay.
Yeah, Kevin is his
Kevin
name?
Kevin,
Smith.
yeah, Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
He's definitely-
he wrote Daredevil, like one of the Daredevils that's still
I think
beloved.
it was the
He like killed a character. I think
Wait,
it was-
which Daredevil? The Ben Affleck Daredevil?
no, the comic book.
comic book.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, what the hell?
it wasn't
But-
Elektra.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Eh,
Frank Miller wrote Elektra.
Okay, so like, let's just talk about like us as the trio. Like, honestly, what happened for all of us to come together was just a kind of a culmination of random events that like had no bearing on like any real direction. Things just kind of naturally happened from like, you know, the Sharkade event that we held at the convention center, to you wanting to get involved, to Michael actually joining the KA team, and then we were gonna do like a local during the time, but like, you know, unfortunately there was like some weird things going on within the org at the time, and then it kind of fell apart. But from there, you know, I was actually like contemplating. I was like, dude, that was way too much like drama and nonsense for me. I was actually genuinely seriously thinking about just like, all right, you know what, I'm just gonna become a filthy casual. It's gonna be fine, like whatever, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And like, I actually got encouraged by Michael and Dakota to really start, you know, going back to it. This was during the time that Michael brought me into like being an esports manager for San Jose State. So it was like getting a much more packed schedule too. During the time when MADHouse was first starting up, I was doing full-time work, like 60 hours a week kind of deal. I was doing full-time school as well. And then I was also, you know, the esports manager. And then we're also doing MADHouse on top of this. So it was a ton of work doing all of that all at once. And I think back, like, how the hell did I do that? That made no sense to me.
I always think of that. When I asked you to help San Jose State with the whole managing the Halo team and stuff, I was like, should I even ask him? Because I tried doing the math on just like what you're already doing. And I'm like, there's no way. He can't do this. But I'm like, for some weird reason, I've never seen someone that does so much. And I'm like, this already is not possible. How is he doing this? So I asked you. And when you said, yeah, I'm like, how is he going to do it? This is crazy. Like, there's no sleep or something.
There really wasn't sleep, actually, funny enough. I think I already had problems sleeping. And so to me, it was actually crazy that I was able to make all the practices for the Halo team, all the matches. Even like when we were doing events, I still remember there was, you know, an event or a match that they had for Saturday because they were getting into the playoffs at the time. And their event was their match was happening at like 3 p.m. And we were actually running a con, I think YumiCon at the time. So we were running a little bit of a game room there. So I literally connected to their Wi-Fi, and then I hooked into from my laptop and started like, you know, just cheering them on from the convention center itself using my laptop. So like, there's always ways to make it work. And, you know, it's just technology has reached the point where I could do a lot of this stuff remotely. You know, you don't have to physically be there to cheer on this team.
Yeah,
which is cool.
And that was awesome. And going back to the KA, like when I was like away for a little bit, and then when you invited me to the Sharkade at your convention and stuff, and I seen it, I was like, damn, like it's like the revitalizing of, hey, I see Atlanta hosting something again. And I seen with KA and like what you were doing, I seen that. I'm like, there's so much potential, but it does seem like chaotic.
It was genuinely chaotic. I mean, mind you, what we do right now is actually very chaotic, but it's like this weird controlled chaos where I know everything's going to just come together and I'm not going to really stress about it after, like when the night ends. I'll be like, you know, if I look at it, I'm like, I think we did a great job. You know, like every time we do it, like even no matter how chaotic it is, like Guildhouse Gauntlet, very chaotic. I still think we did an amazing job.
Oh, 100%. And like, dude, like when I went into that convention center and I seen you, and I was like, it was so inspiring. I was just like, this could be something crazy. And the fact that Atlanta's on board again, and so it was just awesome seeing it. It was like a bigger deal than I think you think with the convention and stuff. It was just so awesome. Dakota, you were there, right, Dakota? Yeah,
that was like the first time since WNF had closed. Like even then, like I had quit Mortal Kombat 11 like even before the third variation had come out.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been to a local in that point, like maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years or whatever it was. So it was really cool to not only see like Atlanta, because Atlanta, like, you know, he posted about it, but it was also really cool to like see you and then see, you know, Shaolin and a bunch of other players and see like, wow, you know, I think I was the only one that signed up for Mortal Kombat X that night.
No, Shaolin signed up too.
He did?
Yeah.
I showed up like 5 minutes late, so Atlanta had canceled it. So I was like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, you could just come in and watch for free. I was like, no, let me pay you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not gonna take your money. And I was like, why not? Right? I started getting offended, right? I was like,
come on,
I was like, dude,
take
I know. I was like, dude, I don't care, dude. Look at you. I want support, right? But yeah, it was cool to like walk in, see all the Tekken players, see all the Guilty Gear players, and still be like, wow, there's still a demand for this, right? Even if it's not my game. And then to see you, and then like there was this moment where I was like, damn, dude, this feels good again, right? Where I was like talking with you, where we were both posted up against this wall. Like you were kind of like standing against this wall, and I just stood right next to you, and I was like, so what's up, man? You been good? You're like, yeah, I've been good. You're like, what's the move? I was like, I don't know, you tell me, right? And it was just like damn, like we didn't even skip a beat. I was like, dude, I still really like Michelangelo. It's awesome.
No, it was a good time, and freaking just like, even you had the hot sauce there, you know, the Hot Ones hot sauce and just everything. You're always someone that's scheming, it seems like. You know I cannot eat dairy, and for some reason Atlanta always has dairy in my hands some way, and I'm like, Atlanta, you know I can't have this, and you're like, it's okay.
Like
and I'm just like
that sour cream ruffles that he gave to you that one day at the band hall.
It was it was crazy. But dude, you've always been a giver. Like since 2013 when I first met you, and I was having these like sessions at my house, you would always come with like Hostess, like, you know, cream filling cupcakes, but you would come with like a trunk full of snacks. And you know, it was like Lafayette was here, Miggs, Anthony, and it was just so many people packed in the room, and you always bring snacks. What made you like such a giver, like bringing snacks, or you had to bring something to the party?
It might have to do with like, I guess my upbringing, where like, you know, plentiful things were not like, that was never happening in my house, right? Like you were always like scavenging for kind of food kind of deal. I was the kind of kid who, you know, unfortunately I was sent to school without any breakfast. So I'd pass out at school a little bit every now and then because I just was not fed. Like it was pretty bad. Like it's kind of funny because they thought like it was child abuse, right, originally, and I didn't realize it until years later because they put me in like these little random playrooms, right? And they'd be like, oh, you know, play with your environment. I didn't realize what they were having me do because, like, you know how, like, some kids will, like, reenact what's happening at home? It's like, no, you know, they grab the dolls and show, like, what the heck is happening. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, oh, man, I got army soldiers? That's crazy. I started lighting up these tanks, having a blast, having a great time. And then they realize, like, oh, this just... You know, this kid's just poor.
Like, moving on. Like,
yeah, so they eventually released me.
We thought we had another one.
So I didn't realize until years later. I was just like, oh, okay. And then eventually, funny enough, they actually gave me this form so I'd get free lunch, basically. It's like a free lunch program. But every time I brought it home, my family had no idea what the hell this paperwork was because they didn't speak English, or they had English, but it was like not the greatest, right? So they just did not understand what this form was. So like I would just hand it to them and they throw it out because they just like whatever about it because they're like, where do I sign? You know, kind of deal. And I'm like, I don't know.
You're like my field trip,
right? I mean, you know, the field trips back then were only like $5, so that wasn't so bad. Yeah, you know?
Man.
Like nowadays, I'm hearing field trips are like $100.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
it's no longer subsidized.
Yeah, that's why.
Exactly, paying for a bus driver is very expensive. Kind of deal.
So I still don't know if I ever asked this question to you guys, or maybe I just forgot. I'm not sure, but like, I remember the way MADHouse got started. We kind of were like like we were even contemplating, let's just do MADHouse in the garage somewhere. Maybe Dakota's house, maybe right here in this garage that we're at. We were like, let's try it here. Let's just start somewhere.
Yeah, I was super gun ho about it, where I was like, we're gonna do this. And I don't care if we can't get a venue.
Yeah.
We'll do it out of your garage, and if you're not comfortable with that, because immediately as I said that, you had like this look where you're like, you know,
well, because I remember this garage was packed full of stuff from the back to the front.
Yeah.
But when you said that, I started to like clean this garage up, and I'm like, but we already had a venue.
Yeah.
But I was like, just in case we want like a little dojo or somewhere to come on a Sunday and like play, this will be here.
Yeah,
like,
I sensed your hesitation, so I was immediately like, "Fuck it, we'll do it at my house, dude."
Yeah.
I have outlets in my backyard, dude. We can run it right next to the pool, dude. Somebody will lose and get fucking the whole setups going in, right?
Yeah.
But I don't care, dude.
Yeah.
We'll run it at my house.
We're gonna run it somehow.
We're gonna make this happen, no matter what.
So like you met Dakota with the whole gym and everything, and you met me when you hosted the thing. Like, I don't remember like what made you just call me and ask, "Hey, Michael, like, what do you think about doing like an event again?" Because like it seemed like after Sharkade and stuff, I remember talking to you a little bit, but it seemed like you were done. Like you said, you're going back to being a casual. But what sparked it to call me and say, "Hey, like I'm talking to Dakota, and what do you think about like doing that?" What where did that even come? Like what happened?
That's the weird thing, is that I just kind of had a moment where I'm just like, we have a good momentum going. We kind of have I kind of have the idea of what we want to do, and I enjoyed doing the event. Like I had a lot of fun during. It was just chaotic leading up to it, but it's okay. That's usually how events go. But it's just more or less just I wanted to do these events again. I've always had a lot of fun. I still credit the FGC for getting me through a lot of the toughest times, if you will. So it's stuff like that where I'm just like, hey, it's this camaraderie and like this community. And then now looking at like the community that we have, it's kind of ridiculous, like people like at Evo, like everyone's like high-fiving each other, giving each other props and stuff like that. Yeah, we got under the pools, and you see like the one sad sack in the corner, like I didn't get out. No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Michael didn't come to coach me.
Yeah, I know. I owe you. Next year.
I owe you.
You owe me too.
You can't bring back it. No,
Next year, I'm going in.
You're gonna be with me all day one, baby.
But yeah, no, I'm there. But it was awesome, like hearing, because dude, I can't even remember what I was doing. Like where was I to even like say yes or something? Like, but when you called me, it sounded like Dakota was already putting it in your head to come back. Like you were like, "Hey man, like there's an idea going on here."
I
like,
was
what do you think?
after that event, I was pestering this dude on Snapchat. I was like, that I didn't have his number or anything. It was just Snapchat. I was like, "What's up? What's the move?
What's up, Pim?
I got equipment, man. When's the next event? When can I buy one of these KA fucking university, jackets or whatever, the Lettermans?
Yeah.
How can I get in on this?" It was just like constant, and then he was just like, he's like, "Just chill, right?" Or just like, "Wait," or it's, "Hey, we're working on stuff. Don't worry about it," right? And I was just like, "All right, I'll be patient. I'll leave you alone for right now."
So basically, you were sliding into his DMs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he was.
The way Atlanta asked me, when you asked me about Dakota, you're like, "What do we think about Dakota?" And I knew him already. I was like, we would always, Dakota would drive Cherie and I to Oakland, the esports arena. We would always talk, and then so that's how I got to know Dakota. I'm like, this guy is like dedicated, like he's about it and stuff. And
So you were a chauffeur first.
Everybody.
he was just about
Since I played MKX alone for so long, the moment I met anybody else who played Mortal Kombat who was like, "Wait, no, there's an event," I was like, "Whatever you guys fucking need, dude. I'll pick you up, I'll buy you food, whatever it is, we will do this together, dude. I'm not alone anymore."
Yeah, that was the dedication, and it was like a fraternity doing he's paying his dues kind of thing. And then so when Atlanta asked me, I was kind of like right away, I was like, he seems like a go-getter, like what do you think? And then that's when we did the 3-way call.
Yeah, because honestly, I wanted to see if we could like kind of build a team where we're all in agreement. Because realistically, in order to do what we want to do, like in a certain level, you need a good group. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't have been able to. I don't think, looking at it right now, what we could do, what we're doing right now, one person, I don't think we could do this.
No.
God, no. Like, look at all this.
No.
This is ridiculous.
Even if it was like 2 or 3 people that were like, because I've heard like people like me that's just, they want a game. So they're like, let's host something. But then they don't have you guys, which is like the production and brains behind the equipment, stuff like that. So I knew when I was like, okay, Dakota and Atlanta, like we're all different in a way where it's like, you know, I might be hardcore gaming, like getting my medals or whatever. So I know I'm a gamer. Like I'm there. I know the behind the scenes of the FGC. Then you got Atlanta, the hosts and stuff, brains. Like you always, and this is another thing about you. It's a little funny thing that I'm always like, how does he know all this? Like I could say anything. It could be like something I found on the internet, like a website, and I don't think no one else knows about this website. There's no way. And I used to look at it back in 2001, and there's no way someone's seen this one image that was on this one obscure website on the dark web, and you know it. And you're like, hey, not only do I know that image that you know about, but I know who did it, who shot it, who did this. And I'm just like, how do you know this information? Like anything I say, you just like, you know the backstory. I'm like, how do you get that? Like, are you at work pretending to work and you're always online just like info.
I don't know how I accidentally built it, but I kind of built like an information network. So it's basically, just a little bot feeding me everything from like a lot of different like areas of like just the internet, basically. So it's constantly feeding me information. So my like phone and watch are constantly going off with like, hey, here's this news. Here's what's going on here. Here's what's going on in this community. And I'm just like, man, there's a lot of chaos over here.
Yeah.
And I just like kind of like, whatever, let's have lunch.
The majority of that is in Florida.
Yeah. Damn. Well, shit, man. Like, I feel like we're coming on the end of this where it's like, you know, we got at least, maybe it's not the end. We got to where we're at MADHouse, right? Mm-hmm. We were at the beginning of Atlanta, how we met, this and that. So now we're at the birth of MADHouse. You know, when we started talking about it, we got the venue with Jeff. We talked about that. And then, so what was your, I guess both of you guys, what was your feelings of like, when was that spark of like, because when we did the 3-way call and we're talking about a garage doing it there, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's so little right now. Like, when was the moment where it's like, holy shit, we hit the ground running and it's like snowballing? Like, where was that? I guess Atlanta first and then Dakota.
For me personally, it was more of like a small like snowball where like, hey, we kind of have like reoccurring faces. To me, I was just like, that's really cool. And then what like knocked it up another notch is like, hey, there's a bunch of people who play at round 1 who want to find another spot to play, you know, that actually have decent sticks. And they like, that's how we ended up meeting, you know, the legend himself, Rich Honda, which you know, he's in Florida now, which sucks, or Brazil, depending on, I gotta reach out to him. Like, I was like, dude, I miss that guy. He's so fucking awesome. Cool. But that whole crew came through, and you know, shout outs to Cy and Charlie for bringing those people through. Like, I give them a lot of props for that kind of stuff. They're really cool people. You know, you'll see them at random locals having a good time. We saw them at Evo. Did not expect to see them at Evo.
Yes. Jeez.
But hey, that's where I felt like it started.
I mean, for me, it was that 3-way call where we're sitting there. I was like, can we do this? And I'm like looking at all the assets and all the pieces that we have, and I'm like, this is like a fire, right? Like a fire, you need 3 elements. You need a fuel source, you need oxygen, you need a spark. And the moment you get all 3 of those, a fire just like it emerges immediately, right? So I was like, we have the people, we have the equipment, right? At the time I said we have the equipment, and we really didn't. And then I was like, all we need is the venue. And the moment Jeff was like, yeah, you guys could run it here, I was like, we're in, dude. There's no fucking way we're gonna lose. That was like, I was like, we have the elements for a fire here, and I need to be that spark. I need to fucking push everybody over the edge. And in the moment, dude, a fire, it can build slow, dude, but if it has the right things in place, it can grow massive. And that's kind of what I was like hoping for. And dude, I think it's been growing, dude, and we're in a good spot right now.
I get excited when I like, what I wanted to see from this was like people talking about you guys that you don't know, because I felt that when someone's like wanted to take a picture with me, or like I'm walking at Evo and someone's like, hey, that I don't know, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? Like, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, I know this with the MADHouse thing, like people have came to me and they're like, where's Atlanta and Dakota? It's like a trio. It's like the 3 Stooges, and I'm Mo, but hey, everyone wants to see Curly and Larry, you know, where are you guys, you know? And it's just like, I wanted to see like Atlanta's face when he's like, someone's like there and he's just like, oh God, like what? How do I know you? Like, I don't know you. What's going on? Then Dakota's like, what's up? Like, you got a problem with me or what is it? Like, what's going on? And it's like, dude, MADHouse, like, oh shit. So it was exciting. And the snowball effect was kind of around like when Jeff said yes. And then it's like, I felt like we were in tune when I'm like, okay, we still have doubt. But now we have a venue and like we got the venue. And then I see you guys and you guys are like, oh shit, well now we need more better equipment. And it's like, we got to push this and this and this. And then I was like, obviously we were like, hey, if there's 4 people that come and 3 of the people is us playing and there's 1 other person here, we're a success. We feel like it. Like, and I always love seeing something start from like a garage where it's like, you know, super small, super just, let's start from the dirt and let's create gold from it. Like, and it was cool to see that all of us were on board with like being there for the foundation of it. Because a lot of people want to be there for when the building is built, not the foundation. But hey, oh, you guys are right here. Let me make some calls now. You know, let me be there now. And it's like, and Fist of Fury was there early on too. And it's great, like seeing where it's like, oh, okay, we remember those people, you know. And it's cool that we have 3. There's 3 of us.
Speaking of Fist of Fury, that's why, like you said, you know how people are apprehensive when they come up to you and they're I promise the world or whatever. Us meeting Fist of Fury, at least the first time I remember meeting you was the night before Evo, right? You showed up to that Wednesday event and you're like, what's up, man? I got the suite. And I was like, for sure. And you're like, no, for real. I got the penthouse. And I was like, all right. And you're like, bro, we could do this. They upgraded me last night. You guys can all come through. I would, you know, fucking whatever. And I was like, all right, you know, like, no, we can have the whole session at my house, dude. Let's just funnel everything into the penthouse. And I kind of already had the plan of just like living underneath the desk at Evo, but it's like, no, then I see the videos and I see everybody playing and I'm like, dude, this motherfucker fell through. Like, you know, he followed through. And I was like, damn, dude, this guy's like for real. And ever since then, you've been like nonstop, dude. The moment I ran into you at Evo and you're wearing a MADHouse hat, I was like, this guy's for the fucking brand, dude. Hells yeah.
No, it was funny. I think the first time I came to a MADHouse event was 2 weeks before Evo. I was starting to come. Rich Honda was there. I think BMOC was coming through. You were still playing at that time with DJ. And and Julio, of course. And I just started meeting everybody. And then, you know, I met all 3 of you. The first time I met Michael was at UFNet. And then, you know, you were commentating over there, but you were also playing. And then Sal Pacino, shout out to Sal, he's like, hey, I'm going to this one venue in San Jose. Do you want to go with me? I'm like, yeah, I need to get more training in for Street Fighter if I want to get good. And, you know, I'm the only way I'm going to get good is I'm not playing your Cammy all day. So I came over there and I met Dakota in Atlanta. And, you know, I told you guys, like, hey, I got a penthouse. Come on through. And then I told Atlanta when he came, he actually came, was the first one in my suite. And I was just like, hey, where's my hat? He's like, takes his off and puts it, there's your hat. And I'm just like, you serious? Like, yeah, I got another one in my bag. So I was like, oh, okay. So no, like I've always gotten good energy from all 3 of you. I've always, like, you know, respected your workflow. Always, like, you know, and especially, you know, like how dedicated you guys are, that I'm just like, dude, these guys are riding hard. I want to be like that small person in the back, just if they need that extra push. No, you guys like need that extra push or that extra guy to play, like to give that extra effort. Like, I got you. That's why I don't mind TOing and like commentary for you guys, because it's like, you know, I want to be there for like when the one guy's down, you got someone that's ready to pick him up and be like, okay, I got this while you recover. You know what I mean?
There's been a few that will like be there for us in the beginning. Shout out to Rex and stuff. And like, damn, thinking about it now, dude, you really have been like consistent, like commentating when or production, right? TO. You've done all 3 of our jobs.
Well,
holy shit! I think I'm just realizing this. Like, holy crap.
Well, it's like it was like the whole situation at King's Cup. Like, I got people that were talking. I got like people, the little birds talking to me. They're like, oh, I like King's Cup, but my God, does it take so long for the Street Fighter bracket? It's like we're there till like 1 a.m. or 2, and I'm over here like, I can get that done way before then. And then I take that as like Like, you have that drive. And I looked him in the eye, like, give me that fucking bracket.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
I will run this bracket.
I remember you told me a week before, like, because you told me you heard some people complaining, and then you were like, watch, Michael, next time I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it, and it's going to be great. And I was like, okay. And it went exactly how you said, even a little better, where it went super fast. And I was like, damn.
It was funny because I was kind of hesitant at first, right? Where I was like, hey man, Manny says he's gonna stop running the Street Fighter bracket.
Yeah.
He wants to he wants to focus more on the venue. And I said, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to take up Street Fighter. I'm like one of the more seasoned TOs. I have to. It's gonna be the biggest bracket. I got to find somebody to run Tekken. And I was like, who do I know at Tekken or whatever? And then that's when you came to me and you're like, no, I got it, dude. I'll do it. I'll do the biggest bracket and I'll run it better. And I was just like, damn, like the level of confidence. I was like, fuck it, let's see what you got, dude. Let's see, you got prime time, dude. Either you're gonna fuck it up or you're gonna knock it out of the park, and you've done great every single time.
Yeah.
No, like I was like making sure that, like, when it comes to doing the bracket, it's just like, the only problem that always happens is like people just doing other games, and that's no fault of theirs, and Dakota and I have like always been like saying, Dakota, is so and so here? He's here. Thank you. I go on to the next to go to the next set. So, like I said, like, you guys are killing it in my view, and like you said, Mike, I'm one of those guys, like, I don't if this thing gets like to like not Evo status or like goes up to like close to that status of like CEO or Combo Breaker, you guys get to that big production where everyone's coming to like the MADHouse events. In California, I would love to see California be the next destination for a big tournament, but it's run by MADHouse. And I would love to say that I was there in that band hall watching Michael, Atlanta, and Dakota make this thing from scratch. And I have a little fingerprint right there. You can't see it, but it's right there.
It's there.
But my fingerprint's there,
What was cool recently was Nico came in here, and Nico always watches our streams and stuff, and I didn't realize how much until he told me when we were driving. But Nico came in here, and he like, you guys didn't meet, right? That was the first time.
I've never met him,
Nico.
Right? Shout out to Nico, by the way.
Dude,
he's an inspiration.
Yeah.
No, seriously, he is. Sharkade.
But when he was walking through the gate, like, he was already like, he knew you, and I knew how, like, he watches our streams, and he was just like, dude, like, that's Fist of Fury, and I'm like, that's dude.
He called me out and said, that's the John Cena King.
Yeah,
just great.
The fact that that was even more shocking, because I was like, he didn't even just see you and say Fist of Fury. He was like, he knew the character you play, the John Cena King, like, not just King, John Cena King. Like, that's how specific already MADHouse kind of made characters of people.
And it was kind of funny you guys are talking about Evo. On the Friday when we were over there for the first day, I saw people when I was wearing my MADHouse cap and my jersey. They're like, hey, MADHouse, where's Michelangelo, Dakota, and Atlanta? And I didn't even know him. I'm like, I haven't seen you in any locals, bud. Who are you? And I'm just like, I've been to almost every local. I'm pretty sure I would have recognized you. But I was like, maybe these guys are like people that have been watching us online. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh yeah, there's somewhere around here. And they're like, hey, keep up the good work. I'm like, I ain't doing nothing. I'll let them know. I'm just the backup. I'm on the bench.
You're so desperately, dude. I'm trying my hardest out here, dude. I'm just, trying to hold it down for the team.
Hold it down for the one time.
And you're like, okay, all right.
Like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, I'm just the silent M in MADHouse that's not there.
I love it.
But yeah, no, like, again, like, it all stems, like, it's just the fact that, you guys are like how far you guys have gone, and I've watched you guys, especially, Atlanta's production is killing it. Dakota running brackets, and then you commentary. You guys are like an unbeatable team. It is an unbeatable team. Like, you guys all carry the weight of a certain section. Yeah. And you guys carry it perfectly. And I watch it every time. And I'm just like, I'm over here like, Dakota, you need anything? No, all right. Yeah. Atlanta, you good? No, all right. Yeah. You need some water, Mike? I got you, bro. I'll go get that water. I'm like the what they call the stagehand. I'm a
The
roadie.
roadie.
I'm
You're
a
the
roadie.
You're the MADHouse roadie, dude.
I'm the MADHouse roadie.
When we have our van, you're gonna be there to like carry
brutal
our stuff.
legend Jack Black.
Oh my
roadie.
God.
You know, the
Dude.
one in the shadows that shows up. A roadie's not supposed to be seen, but you know he's there.
Yes, dude.
Just fixing the guitar ready. It's going good for you.
So yeah, like how you're saying we're a strong force. I knew we were when like we'd always have we'd be happy with something, right? Like we said, we just wanted 4 people to show up, and then we'd have like 10.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like satisfied with something, like my gaming. Like when I'd get top 8 or something, I'm like, okay, I'm satisfied. And then I realize when I'm satisfied, I start doing worse. And then I realize with them too, right, is we would have an event, and it's like, dude, we got like 20 people.
Right.
But it's always like, now what can we do better? It was always something like, what can we do better? And I think 3 works out because not only we're different in ways where it just complements each other, we also have had our disagreements, but 2 agree. And that's all we need. It always comes down to majority rules.
Yeah, balance the powers, the 3
And
branches.
it's like, hey, the other one just has to say, all right. Like, and luckily, like, I feel like none of us are completely like have an ego to the point where it's like we'll still argue against the other 2. It's like, no, I am. Like, it's more like,
Damn, I was kind of hoping
did
Michelangelo
you,
was going to say, do you not know who the fuck I am?
like, motherfuckers, listen to me. No, but we don't have that person to where it's like, what can we do better? And then it's like, because we've had our moments where, yeah, there's times where it's like, I think it's this way. And then the other guy, I think it's this way. But then there's the middle guy.
I think there has been moments, though, where there's been like a 1 against 2. But the other 2 are also like, hey, if this person is like willing to take a stand, let's give it a shot. Like we're all we all have the humility to say, we could be wrong. I don't know. Let's try something, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool, right? I don't know. Like,
Yes.
I've always opened to it where I'm just like, hey man, at the end of the day, we're just just kind of like fighting games. Hey man, I'm just pressing buttons. Hey man, we're just doing shit to see what works.
Yes.
And I think we have like, I don't know, we have a good respect for all each other's ideas, and I really like that a lot.
Yes, that's a perfect way to do it and everything. And
something that I always like, like when it comes to you guys like production or anything like that, like I always say, hey, like I usually reach out to Dakota or Atlanta, and I'm just like, hey, have you guys ever thought about doing this? Like maybe you guys should talk about it, and always I get the same thing. I'll put it down the pipeline.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay. And then I like, hey, how'd it go? We talked about it, so no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess to put a button on this, I mean, Atlanta, we talked about kind of where you were, some of the past, what we're currently doing, as Fizz has kind of highlighted a bunch of stuff with all of us. What do you see in the future, Atlanta? What do you want? What's your personal goal? What's your MADHouse goal? What do you see?
That's honestly really hard for me because, like, honestly, the fact that we're working at the Foundry, we're working with a lot of OGs that I didn't know that we were working with them. Like, it's crazy to me that we're working with Manny. Shout outs to the Drunken Masters. I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize he had such history, and he was there for like all the events I'd be watching because I was a major stream monster back when. I'd have like 3 streams running at once on my computer. My GPU would be chugging because I had a piece of shit, but it was a lot of fun back then. I don't know. We've definitely gone further than I imagined. I guess the next step would be like, let's just see how much better we can make the event run. Let's see how we could optimize our space a lot more. How can we bring more people into the fold to really help us out? Because at the end of the day, in order for anything to grow, you need to build that community. And I think we've done a pretty darn good job of building that community and supporting each other within that community and just really doing our best to look out for each other. But
yeah. Well said. Well, so the one thing I want to like put in perspective for you is I see a lot of potential with where you guys are going, especially if you look at like this year as a whole. This is like half the year has gone by, and you guys had the biggest turnout at the Foundry for in any type of competitive that they've had, over 150 people. But that wasn't counting the people that showed up. you know? And then you host one of the most watched, I would say one of the most watched fighting streams in California when you guys did the 7v7 NorCal for SoCal. Like, you guys, we had a lot of people watching that. A lot of people watching the VOD, too, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Actually, on Twitch itself, I saw the number go over, like, 20K. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, like, it was crazy. And, like, even, like, with the... to take a line from from Dakota, fuck Westgate and their shitty internet.
Yeah, no joke.
That was horrible. But you guys still made it happen. I did my part where I could, but you guys still killed it. We got a SoCal commentator in Spooky. Shout out to Spooky for coming through.
It was great.
And shout out to all the SoCal players that came through and NorCal players that came by. And like, I watched this and I told myself, I told all three of you, we could do bigger. We can do way bigger. And that's why I always liked about you guys. And I like to be like that fourth guy that goes, oh yeah, we can do this by 4 times bigger. And I always like Dakota. He's like, don't worry, this place sucks. We're going to get a bigger venue next time. When we do it, it's going to be way better than this. But I'm glad all you showed up. The air conditioning sucks. The internet sucks. I was laughing so hard. But dude, like, again, it's just like, I see in the future, so a certain somebody has like a convention center that they run. They can literally, we can find a way to use that convention center. I know you know a way. I know you. I'm looking the way you're looking at me. Not looking away from me. I know you know something that I don't, or maybe you know a way we can make a MADHouse competition at the convention center.
That is very doable.
Look at that.
The only thing is, I will say, let's start off by going to the Marriott or Hilton first, that are next door.
Oh man, go big or go home.
It's true. I'm just saying, like, I know the labor costs.
WrestleMania was literally like a hope from McMahon. He didn't. He paid for the venue right when they were done.
That's true.
If you don't bet on yourself, you don't know if you're going to succeed.
Okay, that's fair. Fair. Honestly, it's very doable. The only thing that worries me is just the labor cost, not from us. Like, we're not going to, like, genuinely, if a lot of people don't know, we actually don't pay ourselves to do any of this. But the labor cost of, like, getting the whole thing set up, it's super expensive.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, that's the part that scares me the most. Renting the venue, very cheap, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cheap. But on the scale we want to do it on, that's going to be pricey.
Well, I mean, like I said, that's where, we figure that out as you go.
Exactly right. So the thing is, I could get us actually like cost estimates. Mind you, like, we don't need to go into all the details, but I could actually give us like a rough estimate of the numbers of, like, depending on where we're going in there.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we take the whole convention,
No. So
we're going to have vendors over here. We're going to have fight sticks to be bought over here.
Genesis itself actually started off in like a smaller meeting room area, and then eventually took over the entire X halls and like other rooms too, and then the Civic too as well.
Yeah.
So like the thing is, we could start small and go from there.
Another thing I was thinking about with you guys was that, have you ever thought about doing a tournament during an actual convention, like Fanime, or going to a different place, like maybe like a comic book convention or something like that, and actually like having your competition go down?
We have a lot of things in the works right now, and I would hate to spoil the surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that answers my question. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now and let Michelangelo take it away.
So I love that the 7v7. I do think it's gonna get bigger like next year and stuff, because it's like, I think people they weren't sure about what was about to happen there, and now that happened and they see, right, and we have hella views and stuff, they're prepared for it. Then the next one is like, MK2,
they're gonna get their top players again.
Yeah, like a next game that's announced. We heard of Halo 1, but then we weren't sure of it, and like, okay, a lot of people, it sold a lot. When Halo 2 came out, it was like wildfire, right? And I feel like next time if we announced Evo next year, we should announce it like a month, so everyone's just like, okay, now we want to be there. And I'm worried about that room, like how much heat's gonna be in there and stuff, like people knocking like, no, I have a friend of a friend and he told me I could come. Like, it's like, oh shit, it's about to get rowdy.
Well, it's like I told Dakota, like, when Evo was announced that day, the date the exact date that they were going to do it,
Yeah.
I was going to jump on that Marriott penthouse across the street.
Yeah.
Like, I saw how big that penthouse looked. Like, I saw it from like the street. Like, it takes up the whole floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's got to be us. That's got to be us. Location and like how big it is. I guarantee you that thing is AC'd up. Guaranteed. But then I looked and they're just like, oh, it's sold out already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there ain't no way this thing is sold out a year in advance. Nah, no chance.
Yeah.
So Dakota and I were thinking, okay, there's probably waiting until like 4 or 5 months before the event, and then they're gonna put it out for sale to be rented out. So I'm keeping my eyes locked on that Marriott penthouse every single week.
So I don't know if I've told you guys this, like, but MADHouse, like, dude, it's so awesome. I love Cherie's noticed this about me when I went to Jazz Fest. Cherie will be like, there's stuff like you like don't know about or you're not too interested, but she noticed that I respect anyone that puts hours into something. Like I was at the Jazz Fest and she was like, you seemed like you were listening to the music, but you were more looking at the trumpet player and respecting how good he was because you know he put like 10,000 hours in. And I was like, I love that. I love seeing a human being. Like, I'm not a trumpet player. I don't like play a musical instrument, but I love seeing what I could have been if I put that time into that. And she noticed that. And dude, I always think of MADHouse. Like yesterday, I was at System of a Down. I'm watching System of a Down, 50,000 people in attendance. I'm looking at those 4 guys, the drummer, the guitar player, the vocals, and the bass. And I'm like, those guys are up there doing something special. Like, they're not just a 9-to-5er. They're not like doing what, you know, the 99% of what the world does. They're the 1% of something. And I watched like these people, and just yesterday I'm watching it and I'm just like looking at it and thinking of MADHouse the whole time. Not the whole time, but like looking at them and I'm like, dude, they're so cool. Like, they did this since 1994, I believe they've been playing. And now they're like just selling out stadiums and like everyone's envying them, right? The whole crowd is like, we wish we could be in that position where the 50,000 are looking at us. And every time I look at them, there's envy because of where they're at, but like respect, inspiration. But then there's a part of me that I'm like, we're going to be there one day. Like it's respect for them. I'm like, hey, I'm proud of you guys, and I'll see you guys there eventually.
Manifestation.
Yeah. And I love it. And nothing, I've had my moments with like Yomi and like me playing video games, me being sponsored by Alpha Clash and stuff. And there's always been a purpose, and that's MADHouse now. And I see MADHouse as like you said, $1 billion company one day, right? UFC, WWE, just something like that where it's like, I'm like, damn, we're going to be in a 50,000 stadium one day. You know, it's going to be crazy. We're going to see Atlanta with another concussion running around like, fuck you guys. Like, why am I doing this?
Like I said, like I really see like a really big, like if you guys ask me, hey, help us put like this much money down.
Yeah.
We're going to go all out on this convention hall. We're going to have like vendors and all this other stuff, and I promise you, like, it's gonna turn out big, and we're gonna watch our names like go up.
Yeah,
I would do it.
Yeah,
because the drive, the commitment you guys have, it's like literally, like really, like, I don't know the word I'm trying to use for it, but it's like it's a strong, like, you guys are very strong and passionate about it. That I want to support it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, I have faith. Yeah. These guys, when they put their minds to it, they're gonna do more than succeed. They're gonna knock this thing out of the park.
Yeah, and the deeper I get into the faith too, because like usually I've done stuff with people where they're passionate about something, and then like 2 years in, even a year and a half, it's kind of like the passion dies.
Yeah,
and the motivation, right?
Burnout.
It burn out, and then it just fades away.
I think that's the one thing you guys do that's really smart, and I respect it so much, is that you guys are like, right after Evo, your guys are like, we're gonna take a break. We've been running too many freaking tournaments. We need a break. We're like, this circus needs to have a month off.
I'm gonna be honest. This entire break, I've been very, very antsy. I'm like, we need to do something. We need to. It's
Yeah.
like, no, just chill out. Just
I remember you talked to me,
just fucking just.
and yeah, you were like, "Oh, I want." And even today, I went to Great Mall, and there's a circus like in the parking lot, the whole built circus, and I just looked at it, and I'm like, MADHouse. Like I'm thinking of us. Like I'm just like seeing that, and I envy them too. Where I'm like, dude, these people trained like. Trapeze artists and people spitting flame and elephant trainers, tigers and stuff. And these guys are just like, they're in San Jose right now, but who knows where they're from, Pittsburgh or Florida. And I love that. I got used to the traveling lifestyle, like touring and stuff. And I seen the circus today and I was just like, that's so cool. And then I'm like, that's going to be MADHouse. Like, and we kind of are ready. We're like training to be like, because we already do like, Salinas and, all these places where I love it. Because I'm like, we're traveling, we're going around. And I can't wait to get to where we're like, we're not even in California right now. Like what happened? Like, I can't wait for that first cherry pop of like,
we're in Tokyo.
Jeez.
That's crazy, right? When it's like, we broke the barrier of California, which we kind of did with Vegas. We did the 7v7, but like we break that barrier, and then it's like we travel to Reno, we travel to this, and then we're in the middle, like Texas or something.
Yeah.
And then we're all the way on the other side. I can't wait till we're in the East, New York or some shit. And then it's like, where do we go from here? We did America.
It is kind of funny. I told you about this. I was like, after the 7v7, we should just do, instead of it NorCal for SoCal, it should be East versus West. I think that would be like, it'd be a 10v10,
10v10,
and then we tell like somebody on the East Coast side, you guys hold a tournament to have your best, to pick out your best 10. NorCal does the same. The West does their same thing.
Yeah.
And then we all circumvent into Evo, and then we all have a 10v10 right there.
Yeah.
East versus West, settle it out. Who's better, the East Coast or the West Coast? The winning team has bragging rights for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Until next year.
Well, yeah, man. Well, shit. Do you have anything you want to add that we did? Maybe we forgot, and you were like, "Why didn't they talk about this, assholes?"
I mean, I just definitely want to give a shout out to all the precursors, the people who inspired me. Of course, like funny enough, I didn't really know that Manny was doing all this stuff. Now I'm working with him, which is like really, really cool to me. Of course, you have like micro gaming, with Carolyn. Of course, she was doing her thing. She got into Capcom, and then she did great work during her time in the FGC. And I know she recently came back, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Big shout out to too. As much as like people do have stories with him, like and stuff like that, I still do credit for him for welcoming into the FGC.
He was a passionate guy.
Correct. Yeah, his passion could be misconstrued for other things. And then I just want to give a big shout out to just every TO, every community player, just anyone I've really interacted with in the past, because the FGC definitely helped me get through like a darker time, right? Like,
Sharkade and shit.
Yeah, Sharkade, all that stuff. Like it was always a good time, and it pretty much was like a form of escapism that I thoroughly enjoyed and I hold very dearly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's life now for us.
Oh yeah, no, at this point, like I can't leave, right? Occasionally I'll just get an itch. I'm like, damn, kind of miss the boys, the lads, and all that good stuff. Yeah, or everyone really. Like, it's been fun, Like, I've never really had like a bad time at an FGC event, even if I'm just spectating or just hanging out or just being a cameraman. It's always been fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always been like a good time just to go out and say hello. I always love meeting new people within the fighting game community. Everyone so far has been pretty welcoming, so I don't really have anything bad to say.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate everything you do, buddy.
I appreciate you guys.
No, man.
No, I appreciate everybody, really.
Yeah.
Everyone has a role.
I wouldn't be doing this with anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Damn. Well, that sincere moment was just brought to a screeching halt. All right.
All
That's
right.
what we
do. I guess thank you, everyone. Stay mad.
Stay mad.
Let me go take a leak real quick. Okay.
Okay.
Do we want to do the first episode?
We might as well bang it out, right?
I'm super ready and down.
Super ready and down. I like it.